expressed on the following paid commercial program are those of the host and guests and do not represent the opinion of KMBZ or Entercom Kansas City.
Your furnace blows cold air, and your air conditioner doesn't. The water seems to go everywhere you don't want it to, and your kitchen and bath haven't been remodeled since the 50s. Well, welcome to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. Kansas City has depended on Dick Ray and Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating and Cooling to solve heating, cooling, plumbing, and remodeling problems for over 50 years. All you need to do is call 576-7798. And now the Master Plumber with a degree in mechanical engineering is here to help. Here's the potentate of pipes, the Earl of Electricity, the Emperor of Air, the Imperial Poobah of Plumbing, the Grand Toileteer, the Master Plumber, Dick Ray.
And good morning. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, and it's not a bad day out there, a little nippy, but hey, this is the kind of weather that I really like. It's nice out there, nothing like a good brisk fall day. I really love this time of year. I had a good time last night. I went to a Halloween party. This is a good friend of mine down in Lewisburg. She and her husband have a horse barn. Actually, it's her business. Her husband's in a different business. But anyway, she had a Halloween party out in the barn, and so I got a text message from her yesterday afternoon, and says, "Hey, Dick, don't forget our Halloween parties tonight." And so, okay, I'm going to go. I've been going to this for several years now. And anyway, I just assumed it was a costume party because they always have been in the past. I didn't ask her. So I get there in costume, and lo and behold, I'm the only one besides my girlfriend who was in a costume. Everybody else is like, But I had a good time. Actually, I didn't go myself. My cousin Daryl, who is from Polk County, Arkansas, went in my place, and he said it was a lot of fun. And he had a good time. He always has a good time. He only shows up around Halloween, it seems like, comes up here from Arkansas and just has a really good time. I was talking to my sisters on the phone this morning, and I told them, that Daryl, went to the Halloween party, and they says, "Daryl, we don't have any relatives in Arkansas, do we?" And I, "Yeah, you just never met Daryl before, but he's a lot of fun. You'll have to meet him sometime." Anyway, I had a good time. I really did. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get down to the what we're here for. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. That's me, by the way, in case you were wondering. And we're here on KMBZ every Sunday from 11 to noon. We talk about things going on around your house. I start each show with, I guess you'd call it a monologue, where we pick some subject which I feel would be of general interest. I've done that today. I've had a ton of people calling me, especially just in the last few weeks or month here, asking me. They all ask me the same question, and that is a subject I'm going to address today. Then later on we'll get into answering the phones, answering the phone lines, and answering your questions about things that you have going on around your house. I make my living every day working on plumbing and air conditioning and furnaces and heat pumps, and do a lot of complete kitchen and bath remodeling too. So if you have questions along those lines, whether they be questions because you're a do-it-yourselfer working on a project around your house, I'm glad to talk to you if you're a do-it-yourselfer, but I know also that a lot of people that listen to the show are absolutely not do-it-yourselfers, and they're just learning, I think, trying to get a better understanding of how some of the mechanical things around their house work, or maybe more importantly than that, if they live in a house that was built some time ago, they're aware that there are a lot of changes that have been maybe made since they built their houses, and maybe some of these things are things that they might want to incorporate in their house and make those changes. And of course, we talk about a lot of that too. So anyway, whatever your reason for listening, we are glad that you're here and hope that we can teach you something and maybe entertain you. I wish Daryl was here. He's a very entertaining guy. Dawn's smiling over there. She met Daryl last night for the first time, and I think she was highly amused, even though Daryl was hitting on all of the other women at the party. Dawn thought it was funny, I think. I don't think she was too worried about Daryl. Anyway, hey, gonna go ahead and open up the phone lines here if you'd like to grab a line. That it's often difficult later in the show to get a line because they get all clogged up and full. But right now, if you call right now, you're guaranteed to get in and get an open line. The number is 576-7798. Anyway, here we go. Here's what I wanted to talk about today, and then we'll get to the phones. You know, there are a lot of repair plumbers in the Kansas City area, and I'm just one of them. But there aren't many repair plumbers like me who own a backhoe and a dump truck to give them the capability to repair plumbing problems underground. Well, a backhoe and a dump truck, that's a big investment, but it's a very necessary one if you're going to make repairs to buried underground gas and sewer and water lines, and plumbing underground, in other words. Now, in my business, I've owned a backhoe and a dump truck for about 25 years, and I've done underground plumbing repairs for that entire time. It's good work, and I've always enjoyed doing it. And since I'm the company backhoe operator, it gives me excuse to get out of the office, so I really like that part of it. Anyway, last week we were out on a job in rural Cass County digging with our backhoe, and I was on that job too, of course. And we were making repairs to a PVC plastic water line. This was the main water line that led from the water meter out at the road to the house, which on this job, that was a really long line. It was probably 500 plus feet from the road. And the leak turned out to be at a broken valve underground, which we dug up and replaced, and made a lot of simplifications to the piping arrangement in the process. Right at this location, there were several things that really weren't right, and we got rid of all of them, 3 or 4 different things to correct the problem. Well, anyway, that same week, our backhoe was on another job where another homeowner in a rural area had basically decided to quit using water from their well for the water supply to their house. The well water had some quality issues, and they were just tired, basically, I think, of fighting the water treatment problem. So they hired me to connect them to the rural water line out at the road, and that one was about 300 feet from the house. Well, we ran new pipe from the rural water meter all the way from the meter at the road to the house after digging a trench with our backhoe. And then in the process also, we took their well water was still, their well was still producing water just fine. And so we ran some hydrants, or well water hydrants for watering the grass and stuff like that outside. We did all of that. Anyway, both of these jobs had to do with underground water lines, but we also do a lot of repairs to underground sewer lines as well. And sewer lines are generally a lot deeper than water lines, not always, but most of the time. Although water lines should be maybe 3 to 4 feet deep to prevent the line from freezing in the winter, sewers are often much deeper. For example, where a sewer line exits under a basement floor, it's usually 8 or 9 feet deep, and sometimes deeper than that. But our backhoe can handle a depth like that easily. It actually will dig almost twice that deep if need be. Anyway, I've always done a lot of repairs to underground plumbing lines with my backhoe. But what I wanted to talk about today is a phone call that I'm getting more and more frequently from homeowners who are receiving solicitations in the mail to buy what amounts to an insurance policy which would cover the cost of repairs to their home's water line or sewer line. Well, the homeowners, after they receive this solicitation letter in the mail, often call me to get my advice. They know I've got a backhoe, and I do a lot of these underground repairs to water lines and sewers and so on. And should they buy this insurance policy, which would pay for potential repairs that might be needed in the future on their water line or their sewer line? In some cases, the policy is on sewer line also. Lately, it seems like it's water lines that am getting questions about. And most of the homeowners that I talk to say that the cost of this policy for each year, the insurance is in effect is about $50. Although I got one recently where the cost was $100 a year. There's different companies doing this, is the impression that I get, because all of the information that I'm hearing from the homeowners that call me isn't exactly the same. But anyway, the idea behind the policy is that if a homeowner with this insurance policy in effect has a problem with the underground water service line, which leads from their water meter in the front yard up to the house, that's a part of the water line that you're responsible for, from the meter up to your house. Anyway, if there's a problem with that water line in their front yard, usually up to the house, and the insurance policy will pay the cost up to a certain amount of having somebody like me come out with their backhoe to dig up and repair or replace the water line. So is this a good deal? That's what the homeowner's questions to me always is when they call me. And my answer is, well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It depends on the circumstances. If the homeowner lives in a 60-plus-year-old house, and if that house is still served by the underground water line that was installed when it was built 60-plus years ago, then maybe the insurance policy would be a wise decision. You see, a house of that age, 60-plus, was built before copper pipe was used for the underground water line leading up to the house. And so all the water lines of that age are steel pipe, which has been in the ground rusting away for 60-plus years, and odds are good that the old steel pipe is going to get a rust hole in it soon, meaning replacement of that pipe leading from the water meter to the house with a brand new pipe. When the old steel pipe leaks, the only thing that makes sense is to replace the entire line. Doesn't make sense to try and repair it. It doesn't make sense to even think about trying to repair a 60-year-old rusty steel pipe like that. So, again, replacement of the line's the only good option, and that's what I always do in a case like that when I'm on a job with one of those old steel water lines. So anyway, if you live in an old house that still has the old steel underground water service line, and if the insurance will pay the complete cost of replacing that line if it leaks, then buying the insurance, that may be a wise move. Probably is, for $50 a year. But when I question the homeowners that have been calling me who are receiving these solicitations, when I question them with questions about this insurance, I'm finding that they all are living pretty much in neighborhoods where the homes were built in the 60s or later, which means that their underground water line is going to be made out of copper pipe, not steel. And copper lasts literally forever. It does not generally corrode like steel pipe. It just lasts forever. And when I dig with my backhoe to repair a water leak, it just almost never is at a house with a copper water line. Well, my conclusion is that the insurance companies are not stupid. They're doing their homework before mailing out the insurance solicitation letters, and are apparently only mailing them to neighborhoods where houses were built in the 60s or later, homes which will have copper water service lines, homes where their chances of having to pay a claim are almost zero. Now, the policies I've talked to homeowners about generally have an expense cap, too. In other words, the insurance company will pay the expense to repair or replace the line up to a stated dollar amount. And one homeowner told me that the maximum amount on the policy he was being solicited for was $2,000, which is, that's about half or maybe less than half of what it generally takes to do a good job of installing a new replacement copper service line. The bottom line, is the insurance a good deal? Well, if you have an old house with the original steel service line, maybe so, probably so. But if you live in a neighborhood where the homes are that old, you probably aren't going to be getting the solicitation letter in the first place. And another thing I've heard from some homeowners is that the solicitation letter is coming with a letter from the mayor of the city that they live in, or from some other city official, and that the mayor or city official is endorsing the insurance company. and recommending to the homeowner that they buy this insurance. Now, that surprises me. Why would the city get involved in helping an insurance company sell policies? Are they getting some kind of a commission or kickback on sale of policies? I mean, who knows? I wouldn't think that would be appropriate at all. Anyway, that's about it. The phone lines are now open. If you have any questions about water lines or underground water lines or sewer repair or these insurance policies, give me a call. Or, of course, if you have a question about really anything else, call me. If you have a question about something else mechanical in your home, or maybe you've got a do-it-yourself project that you'd like to have a little bit of help with, and, of course, I'll be glad to talk about that too. Keep in mind that I do the things that we talk about on this show every day for a living, and that would include fixing and replacing broken air conditioners and furnaces and heat pumps and plumbing repairs, as well as complete kitchen and bath remodeling. And if I can pass on any information to you that'll help, I'm more than glad to do it. Really, all you got to do is pick up the phone and call me and ask me. Our number is 576-7798. So again, give me a call, 576-7798. This is the best part of the show coming up here. Looks like we've got one or two lines open here, so we'd love to have you pick up your phone, give us a holler. Again, 576-7798. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. Going to take a short break here, and then we'll be right back to the phones.
This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Not many plumbers own a backhoe and dump truck like I do. Means they either don't dig up and repair underground plumbing lines at all, or if they do, they have to hire a subcontractor to do the work, and that means more expense and a slower reaction time. I own my own Case 580 backhoe, so I can react quickly in emergencies without having to hire a subcontractor who's not really a plumber. So if your sewer needs repaired, or your underground water line replaced, or an underground gas line or fire line needs repaired in a hurry, call me. I specialize in that kind of work. And I have the sewer camera and pipe locators needed to make the job go more quickly and efficiently. Underground Plumbing Repairs by Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, the best that money can buy.
Deep, rich, color finishes bring a whole new dimension to faucet design, and vibrant finish for life adds durable luster. Create a look that's all your own, from pure and elegant polished chrome to the sophisticated warmth of vibrant French gold. Mix textures or opt for color finish accents for the best of both worlds. Consider updating every faucet in the house. So many beautiful options to offer endless possibilities. See all the choices at the beautiful showroom of Dick Ray, the Master Plumber.
This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing and Cooling. I've replaced lots of tile showers that are just a disaster. At best, tile showers are high maintenance, hard to clean with periodic grouting required every few years. And a lot of times they just get to looking like hell, with tile falling off the walls and scum build up in the grout joints, and maybe water leaking through the ceiling of the room below the shower. Well, there's a lot better alternative than tile for showers, and it's called Swanstone. Swanstone is a solid surface material, one large smooth sheet of material for each wall with a satiny finish that keeps its good looks forever. Easy to clean, no grout joints to scrub, and it's just gorgeous. If you have an old nasty-looking tile shower and you're just sick of it, come visit my showroom and look at the Swanstone showers I have on display. Swanstone showers, installed by Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, the best that money can buy.
This is 98.1 FM, KMBZ.
This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. If you're like a lot of people and just hate your toilet because it gets plugged so frequently, and if you're at the point where you're saying, I'm sick of this, I want the best flushing toilet known to mankind, then you want a Gerber Ultra Flush toilet. It still only uses 1.6 gallons of water per flush, but that 1.6 gallons of water is stored in the toilet tank under pressure, and when it's released, you've never seen a flush that powerful in anybody's home. It's really dramatic. Often people will put things down toilets and public restrooms that they wouldn't in their own homes, like rags or handy wipes or tampons. Or maybe you have a family member with large, firm stools. Whatever the reason, if you really want the most powerful flush available, you want a Gerber Ultra Flush toilet. You can see the flush in the live models in my showroom, too. Gerber Power Flush toilets installed by Dick Ray, the master plumber, the best that money can buy.
This is KMBZ.
And we're back. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the master plumber. That would be me, and I'm here every Sunday from 11 to noon to try and answer some questions and hopefully give you some good advice and information about things that maybe you didn't know about. That's my goal anyway. And with that, we're going to get to the phones. Looks like all the lines are lit up here. We're going to start answering questions, see who we can help here, and we will start with Doug in Olathe. Hi, Doug. What can I do for you?
Morning, Dick. I just have a question about my dishwasher.
Okay.
It's a GE profile. It's not very old. It's probably 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we use Cascade soap. We've tried the packets and the soft soap.
Okay.
And come out with so much film on them that it's absolutely incredible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I live in a late 66061 zip code. And this has been going on for probably, 6 months, year, something like that.
Okay.
And I've heard that government has mandated lower phosphates in the dishwashing soaps.
Oh, really? You know, that wouldn't surprise me. Anything that the government does, oh, man, the government gets involved in. I sure know they get involved in the plumbing business and the furnace and air conditioning business. God, it just seems like every day they come out with a new mandate and they say you can't make them the way you were making them before, and you've got to come up with a new design, and the new design always makes the product more expensive, and sometimes it makes it, I mean, a lot of times the new design makes the product more complicated and more prone to problems, and I don't know. I guess I better stay out of this. I don't want to turn this into a political format, but it wouldn't surprise me if they are regulating dishwasher soap now. Now, does your dishwasher, I mean, there's a product that's made specifically for that cloudy film that's on glasses and everything, and it's a rinse agent. Do your dishwasher use, most dishwashers, mine does, I know, has a rinse agent dispenser on it where you put a liquid in it called Jet Dry is the one I'm familiar with, and its job specifically is to make sure you don't get that cloudy hard water film on dishes. And it's a separate dispenser that you put this liquid into, and on all the dishwashers I've ever seen, you put this liquid, a rinse agent in the dishwasher. You fill this container, and it'll be good for, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how many loads you do. Every time you do a load, it dispenses a little bit of the rinse agent into the load, and you get really all you have to do is remember to refill the thing every couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, we've done that, and we've even gone up to the store, and we've got like the high-end rinse agent.
Yeah.
That clean your machine and do everything.
Yeah.
And that solved it. And I have some of the high-end cookware that's like made in France. It's porcelainized.
Oh, nice.
And it's ruined them.
Oh, really? I don't know. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on stuff like that. I mean, in my home, I use liquid Cascade. I don't know what brand it is even for the soap. And I have a rinse agent dispenser, and it works. My glasses are shiny and sparkly and come out looking real nice. But I do have noticed that if a glass gets that cloudy, filmy look on it, if I try and fix it and get it to go away by running it through a load with the rinse agent dispenser, with the rinse agent, it doesn't go away. So it's irreversible once it's on there, from what I can guess.
Yeah, we researched Friday, and we found out just through the internet and surfing all the little sites that are trying to sell you something, but there's this stuff called Lemmy Shine.
Yeah.
And that actually cleared the film off of everything except that other cookware, and it just
cool.
Got acid in it, and it hurt the porcelain even worse.
Oh, really? That's not good. I'll tell you who I would call. There is a guy who I've recommended on this show many times. If you have appliance problems, Clint Sneeden is the guy that I always call for my own appliance problems. Matter of fact, I called him last week. My dishwasher was puking water out on the floor about once a week, and I didn't know what to do about it. It wasn't annoying. It'd do that maybe once a week, and then it'd be okay for another week. Called Clint. He knew instantly what it was. He told me, he says, yeah, the condensate drain on the evaporator coil's plugged up. Here's how you get to it, and here's what you do. Pour some warm water down, and it's going to be plugged with ice, and blah, blah, blah. He's a good guy, and I would call Clint. He works on dishwashers and refrigerators and washing machines, and he's a good guy. His name is Clint Sneeden. The name of his company is Appliances Plus. That's appliances with an S on it. And he's listed in the phone book. And if you have a hard time finding his number, call me at work Monday, and I'll give you his number.
Okay, well, Claude, I appreciate your help, and put on a sweatshirt and your leather jacket and ride your motorcycle home.
I've been riding it. I rode it down to El Dorado Springs Friday and then back up to Kansas City tomorrow. And I am having a good time on it. Thanks for the call.
Good weekend.
Bye-bye. All righty. Well, let's see here. Oh, man, we're over for the news. I'm surprised Robert didn't unplug me here. I'm talking too much. Hey, you're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, and we've got one open line. Call us at 576-7798. We're going to break for the news, and we'll be right back to the phones.
This is Kansas City's news, traffic, and weather station. This is KMBZ, Kansas City.
11:30 in Kansas City from the KMBZ Newsroom. I'm Rob Ladd. The Kansas City Chiefs are coming off their bye week with a new starting quarterback for the foreseeable future. Brady Quinn made his first start 2 weeks ago against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Quinn completed 59% of his passes, but threw for only 180 yards with no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Head coach Romeo Crennel indicated during the bye week that the Chiefs will stick with Quinn as their starter, marking the likely end of the Matt Castle era in Kansas City. We'll also be doing Chiefs tailgate traffic beginning at noon and going right up through today's 3 o'clock kickoff. So keep it tuned to KMBZ and we'll keep you updated on the fastest route to Arrowhead. Now your forecast from staff meteorologist Sally Russell.
Temperatures a little closer to average as we begin the work week. Lots of sunshine today. We will be on the cool side, right around 55. Partly cloudy tonight, dropping down into the middle 30s. Sunshine Monday, a high near 60. Tuesday, sunshine in the upper 50s. And then Wednesday, plenty of sun with a high right around 60. We will be a little warmer for Thursday and Friday. Lots of sunshine to go around, though, with a high in the mid-60s. I'm staff meteorologist Sally Russell, KMBZ Weather.
Right now, 46 degrees at KCI, 46 at your official weather station. I'm Rob Ladd. Stay connected with 98.1 FM KMBZ and KMBZ.com.
This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Low humidity in your home means dry, itchy skin. It also means a dry environment where bacteria and viruses thrive. Means you get sick more often. For over 40 years, I've sold only April Air humidifiers because they're the best, always have been. But now they're even better. A few years ago, April Air invented the first truly automatic humidity control system. With its outdoor temperature sensor and microprocessor, April Air makes all of the adjustments automatically on a daily basis that you used to have to make manually. The result is you can have the right humidity levels that you need for health and comfort without the daily manual adjustments you used to have to make and without over-humidifying your home. April Air, installed by Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, the best that money can buy.
Kohler products offer intrinsic quality born of tradition, skills passed down through generations combined with innovative techniques and timeless design to establish the enduring character for which Kohler is known. There is no substitute for the knowing hand that sculpts the rim of a pedestal lavatory or the eye that precisely measures the thickness of enamel on red-hot Kohler cast iron as if by instinct. The experience is bold. The experience is art. This experience is the bold look of Kohler. See it all at the showroom of Dick Ray, the Master Plumber.
This is KMBZ.
This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. As your furnace gets older, say 15 or 20 years old, the chances are much greater that it will develop a crack or a rust hole in the heat exchanger, which will allow fumes and carbon monoxide into your house, and that's dangerous. The good news is that it's relatively easy and inexpensive to test the heat exchanger of your old furnace for cracks and rust holes that would make it dangerous to operate. If your furnace is getting older and you're a little nervous about it, call me, and we'll test the heat exchanger to see if it's safe or not. It doesn't cost that much to get peace of mind. And if your old furnace is unsafe, we can give you prices on what it would cost to replace it with a new, more efficient model. Lennox furnaces installed by Dick Ray, the master plumber, the best that money can buy.
Opinions expressed on the following paid commercial program are those of the host and guests and do not represent the opinion of KMBZ or Entercom Kansas City.
And we're back. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. That's me. I'm here every Sunday from 11 to noon, and hopefully if you listen to the show, you'll get some good information, and information that'll help you to get through life and help you worry less about your house. How's that? Anyway, we're going to stick right with the phone lines here, and we're going to start with Dick. Hi, Dick. What can I do for you?
Yes, Dick, I just wanted to let you know, I got both of those letters, one for the supply line and one for the drain line, selling the insurance.
Yeah, the sewer and the water line.
Yeah.
Two different letters.
Yes, I did. And
okay.
The one on the supply line came about 6 months ago, and it came to my 10-year-old house in Leawood, and I just filed it away, but I own 15 houses in the village, so I just put it in my file. Well, anyway, it wasn't probably more than a month after I got that letter that I had a call from a renter that said that there was water in the front yard. So I went over there. The city came out.
Yeah.
The water company, and they dug up and replaced the line. It was on their side of the meter.
That's good. That's always good.
But anyway, when they dug it up, I was there, and they said, "Boy, your line going to the house is in, pretty poor shape. It's put
so
in
it's an old steel water line, in other words."
All of my houses that I own were built in the 50s and 60s there in Prairie Village.
Okay.
But anyway, I couldn't get home quick enough to write that $50 check to those people.
Yeah.
Anyway, just for your information, that was about like $48, and it covers $4,000.
Yeah.
On the incoming line.
Okay.
Right,
now that's a good deal if you've got an old steel water line. And basically what you do is you look at the line where it comes into the house and scratch it with a pocket knife. And if it's silver colored, it's steel, get the insurance. If it's copper colored, when you scratch it with a pocket knife, it's copper, then it's just a waste of money.
Right, yeah. I figure I wasn't about to buy it on my new house in Leawood. I understood, what both lines were and what they were made of, and shouldn't have a problem with it. But anyway, here about a little over 30 days ago, I got the one for the sewer line.
Okay.
And since I own all these houses, and I have three of my houses that I have had, roots in the system. Yeah. Every 2 years, so I called them up and ask them, even though the letter came to my Leawood house. I said, I've got three other houses that maybe I'd like to insure. And they said, as long as they're in Water 1, Johnson County Water 1, that they were to insure them. So anyway, instead of insuring all 15 of my houses, I insured the three that I consistently have problems with.
On the sewer.
On the sewers.
Now that brings, I've got several questions. Number one, did these letters come from a city official, or did they come from an insurance company?
No, they came basically from an insurance company. At first, you kind of thought they came from Water 1, but they didn't. They came from an insurance company, but they apparently will insure everything in Water 1.
Okay.
So anyway, like I said,
here's another question that I've got. Ed, you said you have to clean the tree roots out of the houses at these three houses. They got tree roots in the sewers. You have to have them cleaned out every couple of years or so. Now, it was my impression that the insurance on sewers is not going to cover what they consider to be routine drain cleaning and tree roots in sewers. Now, if the sewer,
I'm sorry. Yes, they do. I called them up. It stated it in the letter. I should have gone and dug it out, but
really? So they'll dig up if you've got a tree root with sewers. They'll dig it up and fix it.
Yes, I called them up and I talked to them. And anyway, Dickie, on the waistline, they'll do $6,000. Maximum $6,000, and the only thing if it gets stopped up, that they'll come and clean it. If the line were to collapse or something like that, and and they discover that's the problem, they'll replace it up to $6,000.
But if you've got tree roots in the sewer and don't like that, they'll come out and dig it up and fix it, huh?
Twice a year, I think it said twice a year, they will come and clean it.
No, that's not my question. If you've got tree roots in your sewer, will they dig it up and fix the problem that's letting the tree roots in?
No. If you have roots in there, they'll come out and clean it.
Oh, really?
But let's say that if they dig it up and if they go to clean it and discover that the line has collapsed.
Oh, okay.
Then and the only thing that they wouldn't do, what was the word they used? If it was my fault, if
of course,
been digging in the backyard or something like that. And I've got one other, maybe a question for you. One of my other houses, I had trouble with a number of years ago, and I had the line dug up and replaced, and it was not. I was thinking it would be the old, what did you call it? Bell tile?
Clay tile.
Clay tile. Okay, it wasn't that. It was more. It looked like rolled up tar paper.
Yeah, that's called Orangeburg sewer pipe. It's like paper mache. It's a pipe that was a fibrous material impregnated with tar, and it was put in back in World War II and before that for a few years. And the problem with that pipe is that the pressure of the earth takes a round pipe and squashes it so it's oval shaped. It crushes under the ground.
Yeah, well, I knew with that one when I went to clean it out with the cable, out into the sewer line. I didn't get 5 feet before it went into the mud. It wouldn't go any further, and I pulled it back. Of course, I knew at that point that the line was broke. But anyway, I was surprised when they dug it up. It wasn't the old clay tile like I thought it was.
Yeah, actually that kind of pipe is clay tile's not good because it's brittle and prone to lots of problems. But that Orangeburg sewer pipe, that's even worse. So anyway. Well, it surprises me that an insurance company would sell you insurance on those 3 sewers where you have tree roots in. I would think they would consider that a pre-existing condition. That's like buying health insurance after you discover that you've got cancer or something.
I understand that. The only drawback was you had a 30-day waiting period.
Okay.
So when you send them in the check or give them a credit card, they send you the policy, but you got a 30-day waiting period.
Okay.
So anyway, I couldn't get it to them quick enough.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate the information, Dick.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. All righty, that opens the line if you'd like to join us. Our number is 576-7798, and we got an open line. 576-7798. And let's see here. We've got Don on the line. Hi, Don. What can I do for you?
Hi, Dick.
Hi.
You might have answered my question. You said go down and scratch the pipe that comes into the basement.
Yeah.
See, okay. But house built in the early 60s, would it still, the rest of the house is copper coming up to the line.
Yeah.
So does that mean the water line from the street is probably copper too?
Almost for sure, just based on the age of the house. Anything built in the 60s and later, almost for sure is going to have a copper water line and be one that you don't have to worry about. But like I said earlier, it's an easy thing to check. Find where the main line comes in through the basement wall, scratch it with a pocket knife, and shine a light on it. And if the pipe is orange colored or copper colored, it's copper pipe, and that's one you don't have to worry about. But if you scratch it with a pocket knife and it's silver, that's steel pipe. That's one where the insurance might be a good deal for you.
Okay. What about the sewer line? Is it probably clay or
in a house built in the early 60s? Yeah, it's probably clay pipe. And clay pipe is, the clay pipe, well, I was going to say it's the best material they had at the time, but it wasn't. It was the pipe that was used 99% of the time, unless my dad laid your sewer. He would put cast iron pipe in instead of clay. But yeah, you probably got a clay sewer in a house in the 60s.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You bet. Appreciate the call.
Yeah. Bye.
Boy, we picked a good topic today. Everybody's interested in this. That's good. I try and pick stuff that'll be of general interest. That opens the line. If you'd like to join us, all you got to do is pick up the phone, 576-7798. And let's see, let's go to Dave in Lenexa. Hi, Dave. What can I do for you?
Morning to you.
Morning.
My question is I know my main service line coming in is plastic.
Okay.
PVC. Is that good or not good?
Oh, that's probably not good. It depends on what kind of plastic it is, but generally, whereabouts do you live?
In Lenexa.
In Lenexa. And have you? And what color is the plastic pipe? Have you seen it? Do you know what it is?
It's white because it broke off at the house.
Okay.
Where it comes in, I had to dig it up and fix it, and I fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never had a problem with it since because
plastic.
In the sewer pit, it's copper to plastic. Then it goes plastic into the house, and it goes back to copper.
Okay. And it's white plastic, and so I'm guessing it has glued joints in it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's PVC pipe. I just love PVC pipe because it breaks so much and gives me so much work. It is PVC is a great material for drain lines inside of a house. It's the best material available. PVC for underground water lines, it meets code, but it's one of those materials that just should be removed from code approval. But good luck on that one. They probably got a lobby that wouldn't let you get within 1,000 miles of taking it out of the code. Now, I shouldn't be saying that because it makes so much work for me. You know, there's a lot of materials that can be used for the water line into a house. I'll just give you a brief rundown of different materials. Copper, we've already said copper is great, except for one thing, it's expensive. But up in the city, you know, Lenexa, Overland Park, places where the water lines are 100 feet long or less, copper is the material that's generally been used over the years, and it's the best material. Costs a little bit more, but when you put it in, you're never going to have to worry about it again. Now, where we see, you have PVC. PVC is just junk. It shouldn't meet code approval. And where we see a lot of PVC are out in rural areas. And I'm talking about a guy that his house is, 200 or 300, 400, 500, quarter mile off the road. If he was going to buy copper pipe to put in that water line, which has to be oversized because of the distance, if he's going to put in a copper water line on a long run like that, he'd have to take out a second mortgage on his house. It'd be so expensive. And so the material that's always been used over the years is PVC with a glued joint every 20 feet. PVC is just junk. I dig up a lot of PVC water lines. The fittings crack and break. The glue joints pull apart. I mean, it's just terrible pipe. And so what do you do if you live in a rural area like that? You absolutely can't afford to buy copper on those long runs. And so here's what we do, and this is what we did at this job we did down in Rich Hill. There is a good kind of pipe that is, and it's a plastic pipe, and it's a kind of pipe that is much, much better than PVC, which is just junk. And it's called high-density polyethylene pipe. Now, you got to be careful. If you just go say, hey, I want to roll a polyethylene pipe, they're going to sell you a pipe that has a real thin wall that's made to be put together by sticking an insert fitting or a barb fitting inside of the pipe. Then you tighten a stainless steel clamp. Well, you don't want that. That's a thin wall pipe. The fittings leak like crazy. What you do want, and what we used at this job that we just did where we had a 300-foot water line, is we put in high-density polyethylene pipe, and it's a copper tube size pipe. It has the same outside diameter as copper, which allows us to use pack joint fittings. They're solid brass pack joint fittings that are designed for use with copper pipe. Well, they intentionally made the pipe same outside diameter as copper pipe so we can use those pack joint couplings for high-density polyethylene. And, of course, on this job that we did down in Rich Hill, we didn't even need any couplings because the pipe, instead of having a glued joint to leak every 20 feet like PVC, the high-density polyethylene comes in rolls. The pipe we used was in a 300-foot roll, and so there weren't any joints from the meter all the way up to the house. But if we're going more than 300 feet, then we use a brass pack joint fitting, and we use stainless steel inserts in the end of the pipe where the couplings are, so that the pack joint fitting will grab the pipe well. And anyway, that's a long talk.
Only have my water line coming in is probably only about 60 feet.
Yeah, well then,
and it makes sense because when my house was built, it was rural before it built up out there.
Oh, okay.
I originally was in the county before. Well, next I took it.
You know what they call that? Your house was rural, and so it was built according to the code of the country. The code of the country, that's my funny way of saying that in the country, anything goes because there is no code and no inspection, and so a lot of things get done that aren't exactly great workmanship.
Well, so then because I've gotten the same thing that gentleman before you called. I've gotten it twice in the mail.
Yeah.
It'd be a good deal for me, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Except the only bad thing is if you had a steel water line and they dig it up and they're leaking and it's leaking, you're going to get a new water line. But if you've got a PVC water line and they dig it up and see it's PVC, they probably aren't going to pay to replace the line. They're probably just going to fix it for you. And really, the proper solution, if I dug up your water line and it had a cracked fitting, what I'd be doing is trying real hard to talk you into putting in a copper water line so that you could eliminate these every few years of digging with a backhoe. That's what you really need if you want to eliminate your problems, is a copper water line.
So far, it's only broke once, and I've lived there 30 years.
Okay, well, that's good.
And I really don't have any big tree roots in the front yard. It just broke where I guess they spliced it from going into the house.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway.
When they got in the house, they went copper.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah. Well, anyway, hope that helps you.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Appreciate the call.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All righty. That opens the line, 576-7798. Boy, I picked a good topic today. Everybody's interested in this. It's often difficult, like today, to get an open line, an open telephone line during the show. And with that in mind, again, I'm going to give you the invitation that I always do during the show. And this is an invitation for you to call me really anytime you want to, anytime during the week, not just during this show. This show only comes along once a week for an hour. And if you need information in between the shows, I'm not going to make you wait until the next show. Need a little free advice on a project you're working on, you feel free to call me anytime you want to. You don't need to feel like you're imposing on me. You can call me after 5 o'clock at night. You can call me on Saturday. You can call me on Sunday. If you weren't able to get in today, call me right after the show. And I really don't mind. I'm serious about that. Nobody believes me. The first words out of somebody's mouth when they call me after 5 o'clock or on the weekend is, "Hey, Dick, I'm sorry to bother you." But anyway, don't feel that way. And in all honesty, a lot of the calls that I do get, they're from somebody that just wants me to come out and take care of the problem for them and do the work for them. They don't have time, or they don't want to mess around with it. They don't want to give up their weekend or whatever. So they'll call me to do the work. And of course, I like that because after all, that's how I make my living. And by the way, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not just saying call me if you're a do-it-yourselfer. You call me too if you want me to do the work for you. If you just want somebody that you trust to take care of a problem, give me a holler and I'll take care of that too. But I'm being completely sincere when I say that I absolutely don't mind you calling, even if all you need is a little free advice on some do-it-yourself project that you're working on yourself. And I'm very easy to get in touch with because my normal business phone rings straight to my cell phone after normal business hours. So really all you have to do is member one number, and I'm going to give it to you here so you can jot it down for future reference if you ever need me. The number is 913-888-0550. I'm very sincere in this offer. Never hesitate to call me, even if all you need's a little free advice. And I give out a lot of free advice and information to a lot of people, and I do it willingly. So don't hesitate to call. Once again, the number is 913-888-0550. And with that, we're going to get right back to the phones here, and looks like we got, is it Candace?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What can I do for you, Candace?
Yes, I have a question on a waste stack in my home.
Yeah.
I have a 2-story house.
Yeah.
Is that something that a do-it-yourselfer could do, or do I need a plumber to do that? I mean, it seems like a big major task to replace the waste stack. It's an old galvanized waste stack.
Okay. Well, it's probably cast iron pipe.
Or cast iron, yes. Iron.
Well, you know, that's a difficult question to answer, because you can probably answer that question maybe better than I can. You know what your skill levels are.
Well, it's not me that would be doing it. My brother says that he thinks he could take it on the job, but
okay. If he says he can do it, he probably can. He knows. Most people know what their limitations are, and very seldom does somebody get in the middle of a project and get in over their head and then call me and say, "Hey, Dick, I need you to bail me out." Most people know very well what their limitations are, and so probably if he says he can handle it, he probably can. You know, you have to cut out the old cast iron pipe, and you would do that. I mean, they make soil pipe cutter tools, and we have those, but sometimes they'll crush that old pipe. So when we cut out an old cast iron pipe, we'll generally use a hand grinder with a diamond blade on it, and that way our risk of damaging the pipe that we want to save is less. Cut out the old pipe, and then the new pipe, that's easy to work with. It's PVC pipe with glued fittings, pretty easy to work with, and you can couple the new PVC pipe to the old cast iron pipe using these rubber gasketed fittings with stainless steel clamps, and it's pretty easy to do. So, yeah, I'd take him up.
Replacing the whole stack.
Yeah.
From the
well, that'll be more work, but you know, if he says he can do it, I'd believe him.
I mean, it's a bathroom home and on 2 levels, 2 stories, but you know, it's probably built in the 20s, 30s.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big project, but yeah, I mean, if it's a 2-story house, you're going from the basement up through 2 floors and up through the roof. You're going to have to cut out the sheetrock or plaster in the walls to get to the pipes, and you know, it's going to take a while to do something like that. But I mean, the big projects like that you get somebody to do for free, I mean, this saves you thousands of dollars if you're going to hire a plumber like me. You know, I'm not going to do it for free, of course.
No.
And a big
How
job.
much? I mean, what would be the charge for something like that? Just a base line.
Oh, golly! I mean, I can't say without seeing it, but it's going to be, you know, in the thousands. It's going to be measured in the thousands of dollars, not in the hundreds of dollars, certainly.
Like $3,000.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, probably at least that if it's a 2-story house.
Mm-hmm.
And probably more than that if you take into consideration the fact that the sheetrock's going to have to be patched. In my business, we do kitchen and bathroom remodeling, so I've got a guy that can patch a sheetrock too. So
well, it's old
lath and plaster.
Yeah.
Okay. Add more money then.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
well, you know, yeah. I mean, it's more work.
I mean, one thing calls for another, and
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
anyway,
I think
he's gonna save you a lot of money, and if he says he can do it, let him do it. And I'm out of time here too. They're gonna unplug me,
right.
Candace.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate the call.
Bye.
Alrighty. Hey, Frank and Kenny and Ellen weren't able to get to your calls online, but hang on. If you'll hang on and stay on hold, I'll talk to you after the show's over here. So don't give up yet. Let's see here. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you learned something. And keep in mind, we'll be back next Sunday, same time, 11 o'clock every Sunday. And in the meantime, if something comes up that you need a little help with, whether you want me to just do it for you or if you just want some advice, don't forget that number, 913-888-0550. Go enjoy this nice, crisp fall day.
This is Kansas City's news, traffic, and weather station. This is KMBZ, AM/FM HD1.
12 o'clock in Kansas City from the KMBZ Newsroom. I'm Rob Ladd. Hurricane Sandy is packing 75-mile-an-hour winds and continues to move up the East Coast. It's located about 250 miles off the North Carolina coast and moving northeast. The biggest threat may be what the National Weather Service calls a life-threatening storm surge when it gets closer to land. That's expected to come late Monday and centered around the New Jersey shore.
Today, the concern is with the impact in North Carolina and the tropical storm